So I want to run through a little bit about photobiomodulation, and that really is just the big word meaning light, right? Light. And I've been using various kinds of light now in my medical practice for helping support the body through healing of various kinds now for a few years, and it's been amazing. I was using magnetic fields, and I'm still using those, and recently discovered these Lifewave patches that are light patches that seem to be taking all my patients to the next level much faster in terms of getting better mind, body, spirit, from those who are having a hard time sleeping, those who are having low energy, people who need speed in healing, like after surgery, that kind of thing, if they need, their body needs to have support, people who have mood challenges, whether it's mood swings or anxiety, and we all are experiencing some anxiety these days because we have a pandemic going on. So these types of therapies can help. And what I want to explain to you is why they can help. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here. And I'm going to pull up a little PowerPoint for you. All right. And just going to play the slideshow. So when we think of photobiomodulation, really big word for light, I feel like it is the missing ingredient to sort of fast tracking healing. And that is why I'm so excited about it. And when I see patients in my clinic, and when you are not feeling good, what is happening in your body is something called the cell danger response has taken hold. If you get a cold, or if you break your arm, or if a pandemic comes and you get super anxious and it takes your stress hormones up, your body will try and protect itself with the cell danger response. And so this is just a cycle, really. So we see us in good health, running around, and all the dangers and stresses that can happen to us. If they stay, we end up with chronic diseases. And when the cell danger response is turned off, we go back to health, okay? So the whole idea is to find the fastest way for you to get help to heal by turning off that cell danger response. So when we think about the cell danger response. Got to go back here. Oh, this is the slide I want to show you. I'm sorry. So this is a super busy, don't get overwhelmed picture of the cell danger response. Up here, the green is good. The green, you're having a happy life, feeling good, you're not sick. When we turn on the cell danger response, you start to get an increase in something called ATP outside the cell, okay? And that makes a cascade of things happen. And you can see if you go successfully through the cascade, you'll go around the cycle, the extracellular ATP will be turned off and you will start to get better again, okay? So what I want you to take home from here is that our body has a natural cycle. It is partially dependent on ATP and where ATP is in your body that can be turned on and off. And it gets turned on with many stressors that we have. So when in chronic illness, when we're stuck in that cell danger response, and so many of you have felt this way, like I'm reactive to everything, or maybe I'm feeling like I have lots of allergies, or I just can't get my energy level up, or why can't I recover and heal from these cuts, bruises, surgery, whatever. It's possible that your cells think they're still in danger, and so they're continuing to increase the immune system instead of helping everything calm down and go back to normal, all right? So there's ways that we can check as doctors to see if you're in the cell danger response, but what's more importantly is how can we get the mitochondria to whisper to the cell and say, hey, really, we're okay. We're okay, so let's just get back to making energy and feeling better, okay? How can we do that, and can light help the process? Well, how we whisper to the mitochondria is with light, okay? We know now that if you shine a light on cells, we will cause actual cellular changes. Here you see this is shown by shining near-infrared light onto the mitochondria. That is the little organelle that has lots of membranes here. what will happen is ATP in the cell will increase. And when ATP in the cell increases, we can turn off that cell danger response. This is just one of the ways that light can affect the cell, but light can do a lot of other things too. We know that different wavelengths of light will cause different kind of responses in the cell. Anything from increasing melatonin to increasing glutathione to activating stem cells. So there are so many possibilities here that it's important for us to understand how it works so that we can harness it and use it in our own bodies. This is another picture of the same thing as I was just talking about. This is the energy of a photon of light, lightning, not really lightning, but just a single photon, which is the tiniest packet of light coming into the mitochondria and making all these changes in the body. This is based on research. Much of this is coming out of Harvard. Harvard has an excellent center that's looking at light therapy in people. It started in dermatology, and you can see here some examples of things that you might see, whether in the chiropractor's office or maybe your naturopath's office, and now MDs are starting to use light therapy. This is using a laser, maybe for pain. And this is just showing a picture. The problem with these light therapies that you do in the office of a doctor is that they tend to be pretty expensive. And the cost of like purchasing one of these could be prohibitive. And wouldn't it be nice if we had something that wasn't very expensive, that was highly effective, that used light? Well, I think it would be very wonderful. And so that's one of the reasons that I love Lifewave so much. When we look here and we think about the mechanisms of photobiomodulation, low-level light therapy, this is a paper that's coming out of a group at Harvard talking about how it works. And this is in a journal of medicine. And so those of you who are practitioners who are wondering, how could this possibly work? You need to look this one up because this is a great reference. Proposed mechanisms of photobiomodulation or low-level light therapy. And you can learn about these new ideas that are going to completely change how medicine is practiced in the future. So, and this is another paper out of Harvard talking about nanotechnology, and that's when we start to think about, well, instead of a big old light, a big huge light, body lights, maybe we can do this on a small level. And there's definitely ways. One of the ways is our Lifewave patches. Lifewave is wearable nanotechnology. So they have tiny organic crystals that when they're exposed to the body heat, they will emit these to the body. So they'll emit light to the body. There's not an active light source. It's actually coming from you. And what's nice is they're easy to wear, they're small, and there's so many different body areas that can be helped by using this new technology. That it truly is a revolutionary approach to anti-aging. This is how you can get your mitochondria to whisper to the cells and say, hey, you're younger. And there's a specific element that if we increase a copper peptide in the cell, we're going to find that we're going to have a younger cell and a more energetic cell. This is for the practitioners who are thinking about light. Please see me if you want to know about the specifics of different wavelengths of light and how you might use it medically. And but that's really more for that. When we start to think about how these patches can help everybody from people to animals, there are some beautiful visual things I want to show you, talking about a reduction in inflammation in the body using these patches. We all know that inflammation is sort of a big enemy when it comes to illness. We want to lower it and lower it. And when we can see this visually from the patches, it's such a blessing. So this is looking at a reduction in inflammatory markers when the AccuLife patches, which are our horse line, are used on horses. And so this is Center, 31-year-old horse, and this is Center 6 months after using the Eon patch, which specifically reduces inflammation. And I want to show you, this picture shows the before and after of the horse in terms of thermography. This is a way that we will look at heat centers in the body to look for spots of inflammation. And you can see there's much more inflammation in the horse before than after. And this is commonly used to try and identify areas that are potentials for getting sick, or of course, if they're already sick, those areas are going to be hot spots in the body. So the next thing that I want to touch on is the whole idea of whispering to your body, you're younger than you are. So there's the cutest little movie of a mermaid who had these little starfish earrings, and they would whisper to her. Somebody said, "Oh, they're so nice," and she said, "Yes, they compliment me," and they were whispering little compliments in her ears. But wouldn't it be great if we had something that was whispering all the time to us, "You're really just 22. You're just 22." Well, your stem cells, when activated, they can create a younger state of being in your body. And so the way we can activate them is through light, and that's through the X39 patch that activates stem cells. So this is the most amazing sort of overall patch. When someone says I could just get one patch, this is always my go-to patch, because it helps with energy, with sleep, with pain, with brain sharpness, with athletic performance. And so this is really my go-to patch. And when you activate those stem cells, these are all results that we've shown using study, looking at people, showing more energy, improvement in sleep, dramatic pain relief. In fact, wrinkle reduction is a nice benefit for those of us who are getting upward in years. Improves sports performance and scar reduction. That's one of the nicest things, and you don't even expect when you're using it for energy, and then you suddenly start to look younger and your scars start to fade. It's really, really nice. Of course, age reversal, all of that falls in age reversal and youth renewal. And if you are having some kind of procedure done, X39 will increase growth factors in order to help that wound healing. So this is the copper peptide that the X39 increases. And what we see is that there's a clear elevation in this. And when this copper peptide is elevated, then we see all of the wonderful following effects that I just described. So I want to stop there, and I want to touch on some of the important patches that I really love. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to just get into, go to the Lifewave website. I just want to mention the ones that I'm using in my office. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay. There we go. Yeah. You know what? Okay, I can reduce that. I'm gonna stop my share for a minute. Okay. Okay, I want to clarify a few things. Someone asked about what is ATP. So ATP is the energy in the cell, okay? It's the basic form of energy that we make. And it's also a signal in the cell. So ATP in the cell, good. It means we've got plenty of energy. ATP outside of the cell means that is leaky outside. The cell is leaky and the cell is in a danger response. So, I think that's important to understand. And I want to, I'm going to show some things from the website here. Let me just go to lifewave.com. Anytime you're going to show someone the studies or anything like that, you don't actually have to be in your back office to show someone. Anyone can go to lifewave.com and be able to see. So I'm going to share my screen again. All right. And show and talk about the patches, because this is the most exciting part. The way people can find the patches when you want to go and read about these is you go to products and then patches, And then you're going to come to a page where you can pick the different ones. I just want to pull out a few that are really important. Of course, I've already talked about the X39. You know, the energy enhancer, this is so interesting. When David Schmidt was first starting to research the patches, he was actually working with the Navy SEALs and trying to find ways that he could improve their ability to stay awake, stay alert, because it's so critical that people in the armed forces, especially if they're going to be on a mission like the Navy SEALs would be, that they only sleep when they want to sleep, when they need to sleep, and that they are sharp as a tack all the rest of the times. And that is really the birth of this whole technology. David Schmidt realized that light was the answer to turning on all kinds of things in the body. And I think that that's such a fascinating thing, that before, the Navy SEALs were really using pharmaceuticals to improve people's energy and get them to go to sleep. And it's so much nicer when you can use a non-pharmaceutical that doesn't have side effects to try and do that. So the energy enhancer patches are one of my favorite patches when I'm going to go run, especially if I'm feeling a little bit low, I'm putting on energy enhancer patches. Certainly before any of my long runs. My husband goes out and runs 20 miles, 2 days ago. He's like, just going to go on a run, and he comes back 4 hours later. I'm like, where were you running? So I patch him up with energy enhancers when he's going to be going on a long time. I also want to speak to the Nirvana patch, because I've just started to use this one recently because of having some fluctuations in mood in our home. I mean, we've had some things going on, ups and downs. It's been a little bit challenging with the pandemic, and 2 people in my family have put this Nirvana patch on and felt like it definitely helped even out their moods. I know I've got a dear friend also who describes a great situation where a young woman really was quite depressed and not able to get out of their home. And maybe at the end of this, we can get John to tell us a little bit about that case. The other things that I am using for healing, especially I'm healing my arthritis in my ankle. I am using a carnosine and glutathione patch on my ankle. That used to be painful. Every morning I put it down, it hurt immediately. It has not hurt at all for 3 months. I have had zero pain. And now I'm running, 10, 15 miles a week. I'm not running a lot, but just enough. That those of you who are runners, there's an upper limit to a really healthy running schedule. And my husband just did his whole week when he did the 20-mile run 2 days ago. So 20 miles is a good amount for health benefits. And in order to keep the arthritis down, I'm using these carnosine and glutathione patches in tandem. This YH system kit, is also something that I've been using. I use the Eon at night, and then the glutathione and carnosine for my ankle, and I'm feeling better all the time. I haven't talked about the Ice Wave recently because I know that the Ice Wave is so. I felt like, oh, everybody knows about it, but really it is bread and butter, because if one of my children has tweaked something or hurt something, they will come to me if they're having menstrual cramps, and we will put these patches on them, and they'll be like, dang, that's amazing, because it really does help. And right now when we're looking at these patches, we're seeing the retail price. People can, by getting on AutoShip, get a lower price for these patches. And if you order several of them, you'll also have a lower price. I just want to mention to that as you guys are looking at these. The AccuLife patches, if you have a horse, you got to have AccuLife patches, because it's just, there's not a lot of ways. You don't want to drug your horse up with pharmaceuticals, because that affects so much. Let's just improve their pain, right? Let's just reduce inflammation in them. And Alavita patches, these are helpful for skin healing, improving collagen in the skin and internally. And so this is something that if someone was wanting to focus on either regenerative effects, like losing the wrinkles, this might be something to use, or if somebody was trying to heal from like a scar, you wanted to get a scar better, or you had surgery or something like that. This could be great in combination with the glutathione and the carnosine. Silent Nights puts me to sleep every night. Thank goodness for the Silent Nights. And the SP6, this helps decrease cravings, okay? So decrease cravings. And so that could be food. That could also be cigarettes, all right? If we wanted to stop something else, SP6 can help with that, okay? So I went through, actually, I kind of went through all of them, didn't I? Ooh. So I want to see, I'm going to stop my share now and see if you guys have any questions that I can answer. Oh, you know what? Yeah, so I want to open up the floor now. What do you guys have to say?
First of all, I have to say, if you do not send me a copy of this that we can put on our S group site, I will personally fly out there and make sure that you can't move to your new home. That was one of the best, most succinct presentations that covered everything that a new prospect, that a customer, that someone that's interested in being a distributor might want to know. I'm going to send this to the people, to doctors, because they're going to be showing up on Thursday, the 21st, at your 7 o'clock meeting, what time is your meeting? On Thursday?
6:30. Yeah,
6:30. At our 9:30, I live in Virginia, meeting. But there'll be quite a few from Washington. One is the person I want to hook you up with. I think you're going to wind up being best friends. She's in Edmonds. She is an acupuncturist. She is a Bastyr graduate. And I am going to talk with her and send her this. Thank you so much. You will send this to me, and I'll take care of it. I did want to say one thing before I let everybody else talk, because I love to dominate the floor, which is that everybody knows that I'm all about play. Being a theatrical and being a dance teacher, an arts professional, an arts consultant, blah, blah, blah. I am very interested in the what ifs of how this works. I love how you covered the Alavita, the last thing, and said, if you have smoking problems, this works with that. Another thing I want to say is that, and this is something that's come to me and that's very important in my presentation of this is not a cure. This helps your body cure itself. Isn't that better? Isn't that a better way, a better approach of thinking about medicine? This is the inverse approach. Not only do the patches work on a nanoparticle, which is like physics beyond what I understand, but they're sugar and enzymes in there. Now that's strange. Well, what else uses that? Homeopathic medicine. But homeopathy, you put in you. This doesn't put anything in you that wasn't already in, and it's putting it right back in as it reflects out. It's a mirror. So I describe this to people as a mirror, well, to your soul, but not that would be taking it apart. But a mirror that reflects, we sweat, we excrete, we urinate. Sorry, I have to say that. If we take things in, we have to put them out. This takes the energy that we put out in a very small place and puts it back in a very specific area in a very specific way that then reacts through your whole body. That's not scientific, but that kind of describes in lay terms what it does. And I just want to thank you for taking your take on that. And I better have it by Tuesday. Otherwise, I'm jumping out and flying out there, sister.
I promise. That's something that I know that the last couple, I didn't get them out, and I do have the recordings. So I'll send you the links to the other recordings too, and you guys can pick what you want.
And they will be on our websites.
Yeah, they're good. That's great. That's great. All right. Well, I'm very,
my new
very happy.
Out soon. So I want to interview you too, Sunny, on that new website.
Oh yeah. So that's the other thing that while we're sort of talking, this, for those of you who share this with other people, this is definitely something that will help your health. It can also help people's financial health if they need a little boost. They need a little bit of extra money to tide things over during this time. Or some people who maybe you're not loving your job and you want a job you love. Well, helping people heal themselves is a job to love. And it's just, what's nice is, we invite people to come and hear about it. And when people try it and they feel better, it's the bomb. It's really a good feeling. It's just it's just telling people about it and inviting them to something like this. That's all it is. The other things, that I didn't mention is I love that Paul brought this up, is about the Stanford swim team winning gold at the Olympics when they all put patches on themselves. We can't see sports happening right now, but let me just tell you, now that you know about the patch, if you start to watch sports, you're going to see patches all over these players because it improves sports performance. And I appreciate you bringing that up. Oh, yeah, right. Well, and so that's, for horses, definitely. So I think that we have a responsibility to continue to reach out to people and just invite them. And last week, I know we didn't have a formal presentation, but I commit to you guys that we will have a weekly formal presentation. It was just Mother's Day, and that was my excuse.